Tried to kill me.
On January 28th, new viral footage showed a Boogie's crew and Kyle Richh's people fighting on a freezing NYC night. These were the same rappers who once made a hit together. A month later, outside the Gramercy Theater, things turned ugly after Baywag's tour finale. But what happened behind closed doors is even crazier. The night everything popped off. January 28th, 2026, Manhattan. The temperature outside was sitting at 2 degrees Fahrenheit. Baywag just wrapped up his tour finale at the Gramercy Theater. The show was stacked. Cash Cobain pulled up. Wolf-faced Joey came through. A Boogie with a hoodie showed love. Members of 41 were in the building, too. Everything started off smooth. The energy inside was right. Fans were vibing. Artists were performing. It looked like one of those nights where the whole New York rap scene came together to celebrate. But the moment people started filing out of that venue, the vibe shifted completely. Something was brewing. You could feel it in the air. 2 different crews from 2 different boroughs were about to collide in the worst way possible. The brawl erupted outside the Gramercy Theater in Manhattan after Baywag's tour closing concert. Groups started exiting the venue, and the tension just exploded. The street confrontation happened near cars parked outside. You could see neon lights in the background. Signs for Sherwin-Williams and Autocraft were visible in the footage. This was a real NYC block moment.
Yo, chill, yo!
The main viral clip got shared by outlets like No Jumper and Academics. It showed a massive crowd gathering in the freezing cold. People were pushing. People were shoving. Voices were raised. The chaos was real. Visual analysis of the footage reveals crowds pushing and shoving near parked vehicles. An older BMW was being driven recklessly through the scene.
Let's go! Get off the block! Get off the block! Get off the block! Or you go to jail! Get off the block! Good night! Good night! Don't even stop! Good night!
One individual was pushing against police in a way people online described as cartoonish and extra. The cops were trying to separate both sides, but it was chaotic. Police lights were flashing everywhere. Officers formed a barrier to stop things from escalating further. And where was a Boogie during all of this? A Boogie was reportedly watching from afar, smiling while his crew engaged. He was not directly in the mix, throwing hands. He was observing, just watching his people handle business while maintaining his distance. That image alone got people talking online. No injuries, arrests, or official statements from the artist have been reported. But the footage spread fast. It went viral on X. It hit Instagram. YouTube Shorts picked it up. Threads was going crazy with commentary. Everyone had an opinion about what they just witnessed. The reactions online were interesting. Comments highlighted the lack of real punches thrown. People were saying things like a whole lot of what's up and not a lot of punches. Others noted that when they don't have guns on them, they don't know what to do. The internet was clowning both sides for all the posturing without much actual fighting happening. The footage first surfaced on Instagram via code 33TV. It quickly went viral on X, with posts from No Jumper getting over 52,000 views and 532 likes within hours. The clip spread to YouTube Shorts and Threads, too. Comments range from people calling this a generational squabble to others expressing concerns about lost collaboration opportunities between the 2 camps. Post-incident Instagram stories from 41's manager emphasized running a strict program for a positive day. That statement seemed like damage control. They wanted to make it clear that their side was about positivity despite what the footage showed. Now, here's what made this whole situation even wilder. No guns, knives, or serious weapons were visible in the footage. It was primarily verbal threats, posturing, and minor physical contact like pushing. The chaos spilled into the street with bystanders filming and police forming barriers, but no actual shots were fired. No one got seriously hurt. It was all smoke and mirrors, in a way. Online discourse criticized the lack of real action. Some were calling it all talk. Others questioned why no one got popped despite the tough personas both sides carry in their music. The disconnect between the rap image and the reality of the situation was on full display. Some people online started warning about potential consequences. Reactions warned of potential RICO implications for a Boogie. Given rumors of his involvement in other incidents, people were saying he needed to be more careful about what his crew does in public. These street moments can become evidence if prosecutors decide to build a case. No official responses came from Boogie, Kyle Richh, or law enforcement. Both artists stayed quiet on social media. Neither confirmed nor denied what happened. They just let the footage speak for itself, while the internet ran wild with theories. The whole scene highlighted something about the current state of New York rap. This was not just about two artists having personal problems. This was Bronx versus Brooklyn, Hyperbridge versus 41. Two different crews representing two different parts of the city going at it on a freezing January night in Manhattan. But how did we even get here? These two camps had just made music together. They collaborated. They linked up in the studio. They dropped a song that got millions of streams. Everything seemed cool between them. So, what changed? What happened between the collaboration and the confrontation? The answer requires going deeper into who these artists really are and understanding the history that led to this moment on the streets of New York City. The Bronx King, Boogie with a Hoodie, is not just some random rapper who got caught up in street drama. This man has been one of the most consistent hitmakers to come out of New York in the past decade. His real name is Artist Julius Dubose. Yeah, his actual first name is Artist. He was born on December 6, 1995, in the Highbridge neighborhood of the Bronx. That makes him 30 years old, as of January 2026. His stage name draws from the character Ace Boogie in the 2002 film Paid in Full. He combined that reference with his habit of constantly wearing hoodies. His friends started calling him that, and the name just stuck. It became his identity in the rap game. A Boogie grew up in a tough environment. Highbridge is not an easy neighborhood to navigate. He began writing rhymes and freestyling at age 12. Artists like Kanye West and 50 Cent inspired him early on. He attended DeWitt Clinton High School in the Bronx, where he would rap during lunch periods. The talent was always there. He just needed the right moment to showcase it to the world. As a teenager, Boogie faced legal troubles. He got arrested for selling cannabis and narcotics, which led to house arrest and a temporary relocation to Florida. He attended Fort Pierce Central High School there and kept honing his craft. After graduating, he returned to New York. He worked odd jobs like construction and pizza delivery while building a home studio. That period of self-reflection during house arrest fueled much of his early music. The introspective tone in his songs came from real experiences. His music career kicked off around 2014 with his first studio track called Temporary. In 2015, he fully committed to hip-hop. He co-founded Hyperbridge, the label, with Quincy QPAAM Pong and Sambu Bubba Kamar. This label would become his foundation for everything that followed. The breakthrough came in 2016. His mixtape Artist caught the attention of Forbes, who named him an up-and-coming rapper. That same year, he signed with Atlantic Records and released the EP TBA, which stands for the Boogie Archives. It peaked at number 63 on the Billboard 200. Rolling Stone praised it as one of the best rap albums of 2016. The industry was taking notice. Then 2017 happened. His debut album, The Bigger Artist, debuted at number 4 on the Billboard 200. The single, Drowning, featuring Kodak Black, went 3x platinum. It reached number 38 on the Hot 100. He got named to XXL's 2017 freshman class. He opened for Drake and Future on their Summer 16 tour. Drake gave him a public cosign. This was Boogie's arrival moment. In 2018, Hoodie SEN became his biggest success. It debuted at number 2 before climbing to number 1 on the Billboard 200. The album sold over 90,000 units in its first week. It spent 3 non-consecutive weeks at number 1. Look Back at It went platinum. Swervin' went platinum. He was dominating the charts. The New York Times called him the most promising young rapper the city has produced in some time. That was high praise from a major publication. A Boogie was carrying the torch for New York hip-hop during a time when the city needed new stars to emerge. Artist 2.0 dropped in 2020 and debuted at number 2. It featured platinum singles like Mood Swings and Reply with Lil Uzi Vert. After a brief hiatus, he returned with Me vs. Myself in 2022, which peaked at number 6. That album got delayed by leaks, but still performed well. It had features from Roddy Ricch and Her, with tracks appearing in NBA 2K23. Better Off Alone came out in 2024 and debuted at number 18. Critics praised it for its vulnerability. He supported it with a sold-out global tour. The music kept coming with singles like Part of Me, peaking at number 66 on the Hot 100 in 2025. Beyond music, a Boogie expanded his reach. He voices the character Francis K.G. Liowitz Jenkins in Disney's The Proud Family, Louder and Prouder. He has been doing that since 2022. In 2024, he starred in a documentary called The Rise of Artist Dubose on Facebook Watch. In 2023, the city honored him with a street naming called Artist of Boogie Dubose Drive in the Bronx. He also received a citation from NYC's mayor. The Bronx claimed him as their own. He represented the borough on the biggest stages. On the personal side, Boogie is in a relationship with Ella Rodriguez, known as Ella Banch. She is a social media influencer. They have 2 children together. Daughter Melody Valentine was born on February 14, 2017. Son Artist Dubose Jr. came on June 27, 2020. He has collaborated with Rodriguez on tracks like Playa. He splits time between New York and Florida and maintains a relatively low-key lifestyle, but Boogie has had a share of legal troubles and controversies. In 2017, he got involved in a brief fight with Lil B at Rolling Loud Festival that got resolved quickly. In 2020, he was charged with unlawful possession of a handgun and marijuana in New Jersey. In 2021, he got sued for $260,000 in damages to a leased mansion and arrested in London at Wireless Festival. And his crew has a reputation for getting into physical altercations. In October 2025, Boogie's entourage were reportedly the aggressors in a massive fight at a Tokyo nightclub. This happened during the Magic City takeover event at Zuk, Japan. The incident left the venue trashed, but resulted in no arrests. Witnesses claimed the incident started over unclear triggers. Money was scattered everywhere. Chaos ensued. A Boogie himself was seen observing rather than directly participating. Sound familiar? This pattern suggests his affiliates are quick to defend perceived slights. The Highbridge crew has been called into always-on mode. They have a reputation for confrontation. Whether in Tokyo or Manhattan, the pattern remains consistent. A Boogie watches while his people handle business. So when his crew ran into Kyle Richh's people outside that Gramercy theater, the outcome was almost predictable. This was not Boogie's first rodeo with his affiliates getting physical in public. The only question was what sparked it this time: the Brooklyn drill wave. Kyle Richh represents a completely different generation and style of New York rap. His real name is Henry Olatunde Fozhun. He was born on January 22, 2003, in Brownsville, Brooklyn. That makes him 23 years old as of January 2026. He is 7 years younger than a Boogie. This generational gap matters when understanding the dynamics at play. Kyle Richh is of Nigerian descent. He grew up in a rough neighborhood. Brownsville has long been one of the toughest areas in Brooklyn. He started rapping at age 7. The talent showed early. The environment shaped his sound. He is part of the group 41 alongside Jenny Carter, whose real name is Jennifer Ogeneva Aquifer, and Tata, whose real name is Zaire Tyne Rivera. Kyle Richh met Jen Carter through childhood connections. They attended middle school together. Their families knew each other. The bond was already there before the music. During the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020, at age 17, Kyle Richh began recording on the BandLab app. He was initially making music over 50-cent beats. Artists like Young Ma inspired him. In 2021, mutual friend Dills introduced him to Tata. That led to their first studio session and the formation of 41. The group got signed to Republic Records in 2022. They were credited with revitalizing Brooklyn drill at a time when the scene had lost many figures to violence and incarceration. Their sound blends drill with Jersey club influences. It is high energy and party-focused. Their breakthrough came through viral moments. The 41 cypher racked up 6 million YouTube views by 2024. Their appearance on the Radar Cypher series in May 2022 became the most watched episode, with 18 million views by 2023. These ciphers put them on the map, but the track that made Kyle Richh infamous was controversial. In October 2022, 41 released Naughty Bop. This was a diss track that mocked the death of 14-year-old rapper Nadio Salma, who had been fatally stabbed at a Harlem subway station in July 2022. The song sampled a children's show theme and included a viral dance imitating stabbing motions. It exploded on TikTok and YouTube. It trended #1 worldwide at one point. The backlash was severe. Rolling Stone called it callous mockery. Pitchfork called it a new low for drill. The song got pulled from platforms amid outrage, but the damage and the fame were already done. Kyle Richh and 41 had made their mark, even if it came through controversy. After that, they pivoted to more upbeat tracks. Bent became a defining hit in 2023. It peaked at number 18 on Billboard's Bubbling Under Hot 100 and number 37 on Hot R&B/hip hop songs. The track has over 100 million Spotify streams as of 2025. Songs like Stomp Stomp with Dills and Trick kept the momentum going. The collaborations started rolling in. They got featured on Fivio Foreign's Get Daddy in 2023. French Montana put them on Too Fun from his 2024 album Mac and Cheese 5. Megan Thee Stallion featured Kyle Richh on BAS from her 2024 album Megan. The 2024 track, What With Nelly Choppa, charted at number 52 on the Hot 100. These were major looks for the Brooklyn crew. Their debut mixtape, 41 Ways, dropped in April 2023. The EP 41 World, not the album, followed in November 2023. They released a steady stream of singles throughout 2024 and into 2025. Tracks like Maintenance Man with Nems and D-Bills, Chill Guy with Jen Carter, and Split with Skilla Baby by Kyle Richh have been recognized by the industry. He got nominated for the BET Awards Best New Artist in 2024. Complex praised their music. Billboard highlighted Bent and Jen as top regional hits of 2023. On the personal side, in November 2024, fellow rapper Kenzo B revealed Kyle Richh as the father of her child. He keeps a low public profile on personal matters, but remains active in his community. But the beefs are where things get complicated. Kyle Richh has a long list of conflicts that define his career as much as his music does. The beef with the OGZ's crew, including Nadio Salma and Sugar Hill, remains ongoing. This stemmed from the Naughty Bop controversy and the broader Brooklyn versus Harlem divide. Nadio Salma and Sugar Hill responded with tracks like Dead Ops. The rivalry persists through subtle shots in music. Kyle Richh has exchanged disses with Use Jesus, a Bronx artist tied to the DOA crew. The beef started around 2022 to 2023 amid broader Bronx-Brooklyn tensions. Kyle Richh's track Dumb Baya targeted G's directly. It remains mostly musical with no confirmed physical altercations. The rivalry with Shake from the Bronx's OGZ crew highlights inter-crew tensions. Kyle Richh referenced Sheik in ciphers and freestyles. In 2023, Sheik was arrested for attempted murder amid drill-related violence, though not directly linked to 41. There is beef with Doug G.B. over personal betrayals and loyalty issues. Kyle Richh has dissed him in tracks. Social media posts from 2022 and 2023 show back-and-forth exchanges. K-Flock, who has been incarcerated since 2021 for murder charges, is mentioned in the beef list. This stems from DOA versus 41 affiliations. Kyle Richh dropped subtle disses and freestyles. More recently, in December 2025, Kyle Richh accused Ice Spice of stealing his flow and the beat for Bent. He claimed 41 offered her a feature, but she took the production and unfollowed him shortly after. This creative dispute got amplified on X and TikTok. Other conflicts include an ongoing rap rivalry with DT in early 2024, a beef with Jawu, street-linked feuds with Blockwork and 26AR, a 2024 airport confrontation with Bloody Dez calling him out on Cason Stream, and supporting Rocky against Duke Dennis in a 2025 streaming beef. Kyle Richh has spoken on beefs generally, saying he would consider squashing them for peace, but prioritizes loyalty. He views drill as evolving beyond pure violence. But the list of enemies keeps growing. So when Kyle Richh's crew encountered Boogie's people outside that grammar theater, it was just another chapter in a career defined by conflict. The question is, what specifically triggered this particular confrontation when the two camps had been making music together just months earlier? From collaboration to confrontation, here's the part that makes this whole situation so wild. A Boogie and 41 were not enemies before this. They literally made a song together. They linked up in the studio. They released music that fans loved. Everything seemed cool between the Bronx and Brooklyn for once. Prior to any conflict, a Boogie and 41, including Kyle Richh, collaborated on a track called Naked, released in June 2025. The song features a Boogie alongside Kyle Richh, Jen Carter, and Tata. It is described as a sensual melodic single showcasing a softer side of the drill group. This was supposed to be a positive cross-borough link-up between Bronx and Brooklyn artists. The track marked their first joint effort with production blending drill beats and R&B vibes. It was well received. The song amassed millions of streams on Spotify. A music video was shared in September 2025. Fans were excited to see these two worlds coming together. The collaboration made sense musically, even if their backgrounds were different. Lyrics on Naked Touch are on themes like relationships and luxury. Kyle Richh had lines about not wanting to be called someone's favorite and about a girl who does not want to be saved. A Boogie brought his melodic trap style. Tata and Jen Carter added their energy. It was a complete track that showed what could happen when New York artists put aside differences. There were no signs of tension during this period. No subliminal dissing, no social media shade, and no indication that anything was wrong between the camps. The collaboration represented hope that the New York rap scene could move past the constant beefs and actually create together. So, what happened between June 2025 and January 2026 that led to a street brawl outside a concert venue? The exact trigger for the fight remains unclear, as neither artist has commented publicly. No statements were released, and no interviews explain the situation. Both sides stayed silent and let the footage do the talking. But speculation from social media and hip-hop commentary points to several possible factors. Inter-rivalries between Boogie Bronx's roots and Kyle Richh's Brooklyn drill scene often lead to battles of the borough's tensions. Even when artists collaborate, the people around them might not be on the same page. Crew members carry their own histories and affiliations that have nothing to do with the music. What happens in the studio does not always translate to what happens in the streets. Comments suggest Kyle Richh aligned with Lil Tir, who has had subtle beef with a Boogie. One YouTube remark noted that Kyle Richh was with his people because he is on TJ's side and did not switch. This implies loyalty to Lil Tir amid past disputes. Lil TJ and Aogi share Bronx origins, but have clashed over collaborations and street cred. If Kyle Richh chose a side in that beef, it could explain the tension. Prior internet exchanges may have escalated, including personal insults. Online beefs can simmer for months before exploding in person. Something said on social media could have been the spark that led to the physical confrontation. The fight followed a show with overlapping performers, possibly sparked by ego clashes or perceived disrespect during the performance. When multiple artists are on the same bill, there are opportunities for tension backstage. Someone might feel disrespected by how they were treated. A look or a comment could have been enough to set things off. Some speculate the beef ties to a rumored prior jewelry store encounter where someone froze. This refers to someone not reacting when confronted in public. Getting caught lacking at a jewelry store and having it spread on social media could definitely lead to retaliation down the line. Pride is everything in this culture. There is no evidence of prior diss tracks or online beef specifically between Aogi and Kyle Richh. This appears to be a spontaneous crew-on-crew confrontation rather than a personal feud between the artists themselves. The problems might be between specific members of each camp rather than the rappers who made Naked together. Baywag being the host adds another layer. Baywag is a Queens rapper known for tracks like Fisher and collaborations with Cash Cobain. His Gramercy Theater performance featured guests including Wolfpack Joey, Cash Cobain, a Boogie, and members of 41. Starting with positive energy, but devolving into drama post-show. Bass Swag has collaborated with a Boogie in the past, so there might have been an expectation that his event would be neutral territory. The brawl itself highlighted the disconnect between rap personas and reality. Online discourse criticized the lack of real action. The footage showed a lot of posturing but not much actual fighting, pushing and shoving, verbal threats, minor physical contact, but no one was seriously hurt. The police intervened before things could escalate further. This raised questions about authenticity. These are artists who rap about street life and violence. Their music paints pictures of dangerous situations, but when the moment came for real confrontation, it was all smoke. Some fans were disappointed. Others were relieved that no one got hurt. Balanced views from sources note that without statements, assumptions lean toward typical rap ego clashes rather than deep-seated vendettas. Some dismiss the whole thing as bozo behavior or marketing hype. The cynical take is that viral footage benefits both artists by keeping their names in the headlines. Even negative attention is still attention in the streaming era. But the potential consequences are real. Reactions warned of potential RICO implications for a Boogie given rumors of his involvement in other incidents. The federal government has shown willingness to use RICO statutes against rappers and their crews. What looks like a minor street scuffle today could become evidence in a larger case tomorrow. A Boogie has had other tensions in the past, like calling out artists for biting his style, including Lil Che, without giving credit. That connection to the Kyle Richh situation through Lil Che keeps coming up. The New York rap scene is small. Everyone knows everyone. Beefs overlap and intertwine in complicated ways. The aftermath of the Gramercy Theater incident remains unresolved. No apologies, no explanations, no indication of whether the collaboration between Aogi and 41 is officially over. Fans who love Naked are left wondering if they will ever get another track from these two camps, or if this beef has permanently ended any possibility of future work together. The bigger picture. This incident between Aogi's affiliates and Kyle Richh's crew fits into a larger pattern of conflicts in the New York rap scene. The city that birthed hip-hop has always had rivalries, but the current era of drill and social media has intensified everything. Beefs play out in real time online. Footage goes viral within hours. The pressure to maintain a street image while achieving commercial success creates impossible contradictions. 41 is associated with Brooklyn crews like KMS, which stands for Kill My Shooter. These affiliations come with expectations and obligations that exist outside the music. When you claim a crew, you inherit their enemies. Your collaborations can be limited by street politics that have nothing to do with artistry. A Boogie operates in a different space. He founded Hybrid, the label, and has collaborated with major artists like Roddy Ricch and Kodak Black. He has mainstream success and industry connections, but he still maintains ties to the Bronx streets that raised him. His crew carries a reputation that follows them everywhere they go. The generational aspect cannot be ignored. A Boogie is 30. Kyle Richh is 23. That 7-year gap represents different eras of New York hip-hop. A Boogie came up during the blog era and transitioned into streaming dominance. Kyle Richh emerged during the TikTok explosion when 15-second clips determine whether a song blows up. Their approaches to music and conflict reflect these different environments. Comments called this a generational squabble. The older Hybrid crew clashing with the younger 41 movement. It mirrors tensions that exist throughout society when established figures encounter rising ones. The question of who represents New York rap at any given moment creates inherent competition. Kyle Richh has spoken generally about not squashing beefs with ops and the pushing peace movement in NYC drill. There have been efforts by community leaders and even other artists to reduce violence in the drill scene. Some rappers have publicly called for peace. Others view that as weakness or an admission of defeat. The culture remains divided on whether de-escalation is possible or desirable. The drill scene specifically has lost many figures to violence and incarceration. 41 was credited with revitalizing Brooklyn drill amid these losses. Their success came at a time when other artists were dying or going to prison. That context adds weight to every confrontation. The stakes are known even if they are not always acknowledged. A Boogie's crew has a history of altercations, including fights in Tokyo in October 2025, Incidents in Paris. The Tokyo Brawl was initially mistakenly linked to Future's team, but later denied. Multiple international incidents suggest this is not isolated behavior. When you travel with a crew that is always ready to go, you will find situations wherever you are. The legal implications deserve consideration. In 2023, Shayak was arrested for attempted murder amid drill-related violence. K-Flock has been incarcerated since 2021 for murder charges. These are not hypothetical consequences. Real artists from the New York drill scene are facing decades in prison. The bravado in the music translates to very real danger. The Naughty Bop controversy showed how far things can go. A 14-year-old rapper was killed and his death became content for viral tracks and dances. The exploitation was documented and criticized by major publications, but the song still got millions of views. The attention economy rewards shock value, even when it comes at the cost of basic decency. Kyle Richh's beef list continues to grow. The Ice Spice accusation about stealing flows and beats. The ongoing tensions with Yaskazi, the Shock rivalry, the WGB conflict, the K-Flock connection through crew affiliations. Each beef adds another potential flashpoint. Each confrontation could escalate beyond pushing and shoving into something far more serious. And now add a Boogie and hybrid to that list. This incident highlights ongoing issues in drill and trap scenes where viral moments can boost visibility but risk legal repercussions. The footage got views. Both names trended on social media. But at what cost? The relationship built through Naked is potentially destroyed. Future collaboration opportunities are compromised. And the footage now exists as potential evidence if either crew faces legal scrutiny. If new details emerge, they could clarify motives. But current evidence points to a fleeting, non-lethal scuffle. That is perhaps the silver lining. No one got seriously hurt. No weapons were used. The police intervened before things escalated. In a scene where beefs regularly turn fatal, this outcome is relatively fortunate. The silence from both artists speaks volumes. Neither has addressed the footage publicly. Neither has explained what happened or why. They are letting the internet speculate while they presumably figure out their next moves. Perhaps legal counsel has advised them to stay quiet. Perhaps they are waiting to see how the situation develops before taking a position. For fans of both Aogi and Kyle Richh, the incident is disappointing. Naked showed what could happen when talent from different boroughs came together. The collaboration proved that creative bridges could be built across traditional rivalries. And then one night outside a concert venue, all of that potential seemed to crumble. The New York rap scene remains as complicated as ever. Collaborations happen alongside conflicts. Artists who make songs together one month might be beefing the next. The pressure to maintain street credibility while pursuing mainstream success creates constant tension. And social media ensures that every confrontation becomes content for the world to analyze and debate. The footage of Aogi's affiliates and Kyle Richh's crew going at it outside the Gramercy Theater will live online forever. It will be referenced in future discussions about both artists. It will be cited as evidence of the dangers inherent in drill culture, and it will serve as a reminder that a New York hip-hop piece is always temporary and beef is always around the corner. The streets are always watching. The cameras are always recording, and the next chapter in this ongoing story could be written at any moment.